This video is how to stake Ethereum. I'm going to go over the main methods and some of the pros and cons of each and the difficulty levels as well. The main methods are solo staking, exchange staking, liquid staking, and methods to earn extra yield as well. I'm going to go over all of them in this video, and I'll leave timestamps for all of them down in the description. The first method though is solo staking. This is when you actually run a node of the blockchain yourself. I'm going to very quickly touch on this because I want to focus more on the investment side of things. But if you are looking to run your own node, you can do that. So here's what you need. You need to obviously have some hardware to do this. You need to download the entire blockchain. So you need, some memory, and you need a computer that's capable of running the blockchain itself. You need to download some software onto that, which you can do, through these links right here. And also you need 32 ETH. You need at least 32 ETH to run a validator, and you will need that. You'll need to stake it. Now, there's many downsides here as well, in that if you don't run your network 24/7, your stake might get slashed as a penalty. So it's difficult, and you require, some knowledge and some hardware here. But that's the main way to become the most self-sovereign, is actually running a node and putting up your own ETH. But we'll get on to the investment side of things now. What most people will do with ETH staking is just use an exchange to stake. This is easy, simple, and it's right there in the exchange that you use. I'm going to show you an example of this on Binance. With exchange staking, they take care of all of the background stuff and just give you your yield. Now, the staking rewards for ETH maybe are around 5%. It changes, but in any case, the exchange is obviously going to take a profit margin for giving you that service. And that's absolutely fine. They charge around 5-10%, something like that, out of the yield that you're getting. So your yield is diminished a little bit, but you rely on them to run nodes, and they do this professionally. And so this is, what most people do. The downside of using an exchange is not your keys, not your crypto, right? If the exchange gets hacked or anything, then that could be an issue. But I'm just going to show you very quickly how most people do this on Binance. By the way, if you don't have a Binance account, I'll leave a link to a deposit bonus there as well. So, check that out if you want a deposit bonus, if you're new, down in the description. What we can see here though, Binance staking. So you can go to earn ETH 2.0. Now, as of making this video, ETH 2.0 staking is still in progress. Depending on when you're watching this, this may not be an issue anymore because Ethereum may have gone through its upgrade. If that is the case, then you'll just find this in the earn section under Binance Earn or staking, and you can stake ETH very easily. But what you need obviously is to buy ETH first. I've got how-to guides on all of the exchanges. I'll leave some in the description as well. If you click on stake now, you need to buy ETH first. So you need to change some some dollars or whatever into ETH, and then you can go ahead and stake. So if you have some ETH in your account, you can see here max. Now, because of ETH 2.0 at the moment, your ETH gets locked up in a contract, and that contract is going to be redeemed at some unknown date in the future. Here's how that works very simply. You go and buy some ETH and you want to stake it for that yield. You give it to Binance, and then they go ahead and take that ETH and stake it in a validator with 32 ETH. And, they get the 5%, whatever it is. And then they give you 4.5 for, the trouble of doing that. But that ETH is locked up for now, for the time being. Well, that doesn't matter because they actually give you another token called BETH. Now, what this token is, it's called a liquid staking derivative. This actually lets you gain liquidity for this. And it does that by saying whoever owns this BETH can redeem ETH after the merge on a one-for-one basis. Right? And so you get this token that's actually lets you redeem that ETH whenever the redemption date is. You can actually go ahead and trade this token as well for ETH. So you're not locked up. But what you can see here is that BETH trades at a 5% discount to Ethereum. This is because people that are buying your token for ETH and giving you liquidity, therefore have this, BETH. And the only way they can get their Ethereum is by waiting for that unlock to happen. And so you're giving them a 5% profit margin for the time that they have to wait to unlock the ETH. But if you want to stake on an exchange, many exchanges will give you a liquid staking derivative. It might be called Binance ETH, BETH, it may be called something else. But you get this token that represents your claim. Now you can keep it, keep the rewards and wait, or on a lot of exchanges, you can just trade it out for ETH, probably at a little bit of a discount, but you've got liquidity in that sense. So that's what the other token is. But from here, you are staking ETH in ETH 2.0. And if ETH 2.0 has happened, then very simply, you just go through to staking and it will be very normal. You can take it in and out. There's usually a lockup of around 30 days. Now we know what liquid staking is, which is where you get a token that represents your claim on ETH when you stake it. We can now look at ways to actually use liquid staking in a decentralized way, that is taking custody of our own coins. You can use it through Binance or Kraken or something like that, but you have to rely on those exchanges. Some people don't want to do this and want to take custody of their own coins. Well, we can do that as well. So we're going to look at liquid staking, some of the providers and some of the pros and cons here. So first, what we need to do is actually see, well, who runs liquid staking and can we self-custody these assets? And the answer is yes. Very much like we saw with Binance, you as an investor can invest in ETH and buy ETH. And then what we need to do is look at a liquid staking provider. And what they do is give us access to staked ETH with the yield. And the difference is we can take that into our own custody. We don't have to rely on it on an exchange. So the main provider here is Lido. They have most of the market. What they do is they invest your ETH for you into a validator on the blockchain. They take a 10% profit margin and pass everything back to you, everything else back to you. But of course, they give you this token right here, which in Lido's case is known as staked ETH. Staked ETH is a representation of your ownership of staking in Ethereum. And so if you have $1,000 of staked ETH, then that will accrue interest over time. You can go on something like June Analytics, which is a dashboard that follows all of the stats and everything going on in the industry. And what you can see here is ETH beacon chain deposits. ETH beacon chain is where you stake your ETH. You can see there's 13 million ETH deposited right here. There's 425,000 validators and 80,000 depositor addresses. Now, if we come down, you can see that the amount of ETH deposited and staking is going up over time. That obviously makes sense as more people join the network. And then you can see the largest staking providers here, Lido, Coinbase, Kraken, and Binance, of course, as exchanges, but Lido is more decentralized where you can actually take custody of all of your staking derivatives that pay you interest. And you can get some more stats here. Now, Lido and other decentralized staking providers are on the blockchain, meaning you need a wallet with ETH in it to actually use them. So I'm going to very quickly go through some of the best methods. I'm going to go through MetaMask here and also hardware wallets as well. If you don't know what MetaMask is, I've got a step-by-step guide and video. I'll link it in the description. But very quickly here, you need to download a wallet and get ETH inside it. So go to metamask.io, press download, and get your wallet. That's a setup process that I won't go through, but it is very easy. I would suggest if you're investing to get a cold wallet as well. Cold wallets are key. You can keep your own keys offline and they are the safest way. If you're investing over the long term, these are absolutely vital. I use Ledger personally. I'll leave a link to them in the description. If you want to get them, you need to make sure you're going to the official store. This is very important to get a crypto wallet. Cold wallets can then link up with a hardware wallet and you can go and use apps on the blockchain like Lido. So what we're going to do is, once we've downloaded MetaMask and got that set up, we need to use Lido. Now, you need to go through to Binance and get some Ethereum and then withdraw that Ethereum into your wallet. Again, I've got videos on all of this, so I'll leave those guides on how to do that in the description. But we need to go through to Ethereum and we're going to stake now. So if we click on stake now, it's going to go through to this page and you can connect your wallet very easily. I'm going to connect my MetaMask right here and press next and OK. Then we can connect that and the wallet, if it has any ETH in there, can be staked. Now we're going to take out Ethereum and we're going to move it into staked Ethereum. As you can see here, staked Ethereum pays 3.8% right now. Now, staked ETH is a rebasing token, and that means that over time, you will see more staked ETH in your wallet. It will rack up over time along with how much interest that you have. So if you're earning 5% a year, you'll have 5% more coins in your wallet that you can go ahead and trade or anything like that. Now, if you have ETH in your wallet, you can click the max amount and then press submit, and that will go through with a transaction on the blockchain and swap your ETH into staked ETH. Now, this is actually quite expensive to do, especially on the Ethereum mainnet. And so you don't need to do this. The cheapest way for most people is actually just to go ahead and buy staked ETH directly through an exchange, because staked ETH is a liquid token that can be traded. It can be traded for anything else, and there's a market for it online. So instead of having to go straight through Lido and get them to stake and then give you the staked ETH, you can just go ahead and trade it on a decentralized exchange. I'll quickly show you how to buy staked ETH then. Now, you can buy this on a decentralized exchange on Ethereum, or you can actually use some centralized exchanges which just have staked ETH. Staked ETH is the most popular, but if you want to use a decentralized exchange, you can use Uniswap, or you can use 1inch, which is an exchange aggregator, so it gets the best prices for you. So if you have some ETH in your wallet, you can go ahead and exchange this on the Ethereum network. Now, in time as well, there will be staked ETH on other networks. Ethereum is pretty expensive, but you can also use cheaper networks like Optimism and Arbitrum, which are bringing staked ETH over from Ethereum. The fees on these are much, much cheaper. You're going to be paying like 2 cents or 5 cents per transaction instead of like $3 or $4. Now, that will come in time. That's not available as of making this video, but they are working on it and it will come in time. So that will be a lot easier for you to actually do. There are some caveats here. Initially, any staked ETH on these layer 2 networks won't accrue yield. So not good for now, but check when you're watching this video that staked ETH is available on those networks and it accrues yield as well, because that's the whole point of staking, is you want the yield. So what you can do is just change 1 ETH into staked ETH. Just search for the token here, stETH by Lido. Now what you can see is they're not one-to-one. You actually get way more. You get 3.5% more staked ETH for your ETH. Why is this? Staked ETH actually at the moment trades at a little bit of a discount to ETH. This is because staked ETH is a claim 1-for-1 for ETH after the merge. The merge hasn't happened yet, and so there is time and uncertainty within that time period, which requires a yield for the people that hold staked ETH. So you're actually getting a discount at the moment, because if you have a long-term time horizon and can actually hold staked ETH through the merge, you can claim this staked ETH 1-for-1 with Ethereum and get the staking rewards as well. So that's a little bit of a discount, given that you have to wait and there is still some uncertainty about the merge because it hasn't happened yet. If you're watching this after the merge, this will probably be very close as a 1-for-1 value between the two, because they are essentially the same thing. So if you just want to go ahead and buy, there's a little bit of a discount right now. Swap your ETH or other tokens into staked ETH. That will go through into your wallet and you'll just hold them there and accrue those staking rewards. If you want to use a centralized exchange, I use Bybit to buy staked ETH. You can see that here. Again, you can just see the amount it trades. It trades a little bit of a discount to actual ETH, but you can just buy it straight with, US dollar tether. It's really easy. It is centralized, but you can withdraw that staked ETH to your wallet and then it will start accruing the fees as well. I'll leave a link to Bybit in the description. They're actually giving 0 trading fees on all spot pairs at the moment, which is pretty good. They also give deposit bonuses if you're up for that. So I'll leave that link in the description if you need it. Now, thanks to decentralized finance, there are lots of ways that people try and earn even more yield on their ETH, not just staking it for that 4 or 5% or whatever. There are some strategies that you can do to actually try and increase your yield. Now, when you try and increase your yield, you oftentimes take more risk. Sometimes the risk is worth it and sometimes it isn't. But I'm going to go over the 2 main methods right here for earning extra yield. One is basically a leveraged strategy. Now, any time that you introduce leverage, you're introducing risk, right? And I'll go through some of the specifics here, but it is a strategy that people are using. The other one is yield farming. Yield farming is something that you can do across DeFi in many different tokens. And so I'll go over, some of the different methods right here. So the first one I want to talk about is leveraged yield through essentially leveraging up DeFi. Pros and cons here. So essentially what happens is, because staked ETH pays a yield, you can then take that token and try and leverage that yield up by essentially taking leverage. That is borrowing ETH basically. So what Index Co-op does, and I don't kind of support this or, don't support it, right? This is just what the most popular kind of leverage staking strategy is. What they do, you can go to June Analytics and then the ICETH, and you can see all of the stats right here. But what they actually do is take stETH, which has a yield. They then take that and put that on a lending and borrowing protocol called Aave. What that does is let them leverage up and borrow Ethereum against the value of their staked Ethereum. They then take that ETH, they swap it into more staked ETH. That's why it's known as leveraged yield, because they're essentially using the value of their staked ETH to borrow more staked ETH. And that increases the yield, of course, but it also increases risk. Whenever you take leverage, you're increasing your risk. Now, the way that these work is that they take staked ETH, they borrow from Aave, right? They borrow even more, they move it back into Lido, and so on and so on. They can leverage up the yield. The problem occurs when there's a breakdown in Aave. If the lending yield gets strange, if there's a spike in demand and the amount that you have to pay to borrow goes up, then that negatively affects you. And remember, you're 2x or 3x leverage. So there's pros and cons here. Over the long term, I do not believe that leverage staking will gain a large extra yield out of the market versus than just staking. The reason is because arbitrages through essentially borrowing money at a lower price in one place versus how much you can earn from it, that's an arbitrage, and arbitrages always go away, always, 100% always go away. And so I don't believe over the long term that you're getting commensurately more yield than the risk that you're taking. That's just my opinion, but this is a strategy and some people are obviously welcome to use it. By the way, you can buy ICETH just on Uniswap, and you just buy the ICETH and then the token should do anyway accrue value over time because its net asset value increases as the strategy pulls in yield. But like I said, there are pros and cons here, and what's happened recently is that the borrow rate spiked up, and you can see that the strategy actually made a loss for a few days, but over the long term it has made a yield. But like I said, risk reward for me is probably not worth it. In any case, the other way is to use liquidity farming. This is when you go and use a decentralized exchange, you put your staked ETH up on that exchange, and you can earn trading fees from traders. This is, for me, much lower risk. In fact, apart from smart contract risk of the exchange and smart contract risk of all the contracts there, which for me are very battle tested. And so apart from that risk, I think this is actually one of the lowest risk ways to kind of try and earn yield with liquidity, providing liquidity on DEXs. Yearn uses Curve Finance. These are the most battle tested applications in crypto. So I don't think this is massively risky with what you're doing. But what you can do is just search for staked ETH. And what you can see here is the APY is 7%. Now, why is it 7%? Well, the strategy here is that you take 50% staked ETH and 50% ETH. You provide both of those tokens into a liquidity pool, and then the liquidity pool charges fees to traders, which go back to you. Now, there are also incentives. They use Curve Finance, as you can see here. You have staked ETH and ETH liquidity pool. It pays 3.11% from the trading fees, but there are also Curve emissions and Lido emissions that are boosting the pool, right? So they're incentivizing people to put assets into the pool, and you're getting extra yield from that. Now, what Yearn Finance does is auto compounds all of these strategies. So it will put your staked ETH and ETH in the pool. It will take all of the incentive tokens. It will sell all of the incentive tokens and then put them back into the pool with ETH and staked ETH. This is known as yield farming. It's a yield farming aggregator that does all of that work for you. For their trouble, they take, I think, 5 or 10% as a fee. But you can see the APY you're getting is 7%, which is much higher than the 3.5 or 4% that's currently on staked ETH. Now, this can change dependent on how many people are using the pool and how many people are trading. But that's one of the best strategies, I think, to actually get higher yield without taking much more risk. But the APY is uncertain over time and does depend on how much volume is traded in the pool. If you want to know how to do that, what you have to do is provide liquidity on Curve Finance. You get an LP token in your wallet, and then you have to deposit that into Yearn Finance. I'll quickly show you how to do that. You can go over to Curve Finance on Ethereum. It only works on the Ethereum mainnet right now. In time though, when you're watching this video, this pool can be available in Optimism and Arbitrum as well, which are much cheaper. So watch out for that and that upgrade. But what you'll do is go to Stake ETH pool. As you can see here, you need to have some ETH in your wallet. So what you can do is go and trade them. What you need to do is come over to deposit right here. This is what you want because you want to deposit these tokens and get some liquidity tokens. Now what you can see, if you put deposit and stake engage and deposit, you will be putting in some ETH and staked ETH in the proper ratio. Now you can let Curve Finance do this, and what it will do is make sure that each of ETH and staked ETH go in the exact ratio that they should be. But let's say we want to go max right here, and staked ETH, it will change it and put it in. You can press deposit. You'll have to go through with a transaction on the blockchain, and it will make sure that each of those tokens are in the pool with the correct amount. Now, what it's going to give you in your wallet, in your MetaMask wallet, is an LP token. That LP token has value, and it will show up in your wallet. If it doesn't show up in your wallet, you can go and search on Etherscan, and it will show the token in your wallet. You can go and copy that wallet contract address, and then go down to the bottom and click import tokens. You can paste the token address in here and press OK, and then the liquidity provider token will show up in your wallet. Now what you do is go over to Yearn Finance and you press deposit here. And as you can see, you need some LP tokens. So you can get those. It will show up that you have that amount of tokens in your wallet. So I'm just going to click over to the strategy right here. You can see right here, it says Curve Staked ETH. This is actually the LP token that you need to have. You can actually select to zap as well. As you can see here, wallet to zap. So if you just click ETH, you can actually zap it in, which means that this program here will go and do all of that stuff over on Curve Finance. I recommend doing it step by step if you're trading larger amounts, because then you know you're getting the best trade. Sometimes if you do a large amount with Zap, you might get a worse trade, but if you're trading a little amount, it won't be worth it. You can see the Zap fee is 0.3%. Press approve and deposit, and then you'll be running that strategy and getting that yield. If you want to get those deposit bonuses on Binance and Bybit, those links are in the description. The other helpful videos down there as well. And if you want to know how I trade and invest and earn extra yield out of the market, then my crypto investor course is linked down there as well. I'm James with MoneyZG. Cheers for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.